Hello and welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to build out an entire automation where you can input your short form videos, and we're going to go create some titles and captions all done automatically, and it's going to publish those videos that have been processed to your short form platforms. So we're going to publish to YouTube Shorts, to TikTok and to Instagram. And this is really useful if you're creating content in bulk. So if you're creating, hundreds of short form videos every single week, or 20 or 30 short form videos every single week, it will auto process them for you because people spend a large amount of time adding in the captions and adding in the titles and thinking of them. We're going to have AI and automation do all of this for us. And this entire system is going to include a front end, it's going to include a back end, and we're going to use Google's AntiGravity to build this entire thing out without writing a single line of code. We're going to have an AI agent help us write the code. So who am I and what is this video going to be about? So my name is Yash and I run my own AI automation agency. And what this AI automation agency has allowed me to do is travel around the world while working. I used to work a 9 to 5 in London. However, now I get to travel around. Right now, I'm actually in Hong Kong. And here I am working from this lovely little shack. This was somewhere in Bali. And this is also in Indonesia, where I saw this most amazing view with a mountain in the background. So I travel and work at the same time. And while I was traveling and working, people used to ask me, hey Yash, what do you do for a living that allows you to travel so much? Hey Yash, how do you currently make money? And that's why I started this channel, so I can show people how they can start their own AI automation agency and how they can build out automations that people actually pay for step by step. I'm also going to break down the AntiGravity framework that I use to create valuable automations like this one on repeat. So if this is something you're interested in and you want to start your own AI automation agency and start your own business, then I have a community that teaches you how to do this step by step. Anyways, let's go get cracking on actually building this automation. Okay, so here is the step-by-step guide. And the first thing we need to do is decide what we want to build, right? And we already have that done because I explained at the start of the video. We want to build out this automation there where it adds the captions and a title to our short form content. Now, what I mean by that is, let me flick to my TikTok page. Right, so I have some of these videos over here, and you can see there's a title being added. And then I'm sure when I click on it, if I click on it over here, and we can see when I hit play on this video, we have all of these different types of captions. And what I used to do is add in these captions manually. And because I'm trying to upload 20 to 30 to 40 videos every single week, it takes so long to have to program it, go to TikTok, do it. It's a real pain, basically. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna build out an automation that's gonna save me a bunch of time so we can start to churn out content, because it's the content that's valuable, not adding the captions and the title, and we can have a robot do it for us. So let's go through that. So we know exactly what we want to build, so what problem it's going to solve. And now we're going to go to prompt 1 and we're going to define exactly what we're going to build. So I have an idea of what I want, right? But sometimes it's not defined entirely, and we're going to use AI to fully understand the solution end to end and come up with a scope. So if we go over to prompts over here, we have prompt 1, figure out what we're building. And I'm going to copy over this prompt, and I'm going to paste this prompt into Google Gemini, and I'm going to switch this to Pro, and I'm going to click Go. And now it's asking me to describe the automation that's in my head so it can help us scope it out. So let's go ahead and do that. Hey, so I'm looking to build an automation that is specifically for short form content. Essentially, I'm going to enter in all the videos I have recorded. And what I want it to do is firstly create a title. This will be by my head in the video, and then also create some captions for us. These captions will be animated, where the word I am saying will be in a different color to the rest, and the other words that I'm not saying will be in white. I also then want to auto-publish all of these videos once they've been processed by this automation to my YouTube Shorts, Instagram Shorts, and TikTok accounts. The tool I want to use to publish all of these is Publer. Cool. Awesome. Let me just clean this up. So obviously it probably wouldn't have got Publer. I don't know why it didn't add a space here, automation to my YouTube Shorts, but I think this is pretty accurate enough. I think we can figure it out from here. So let's click enter. And now it should go through this kind of consultative process, because this prompt has consultative processing directly embedded into it, where it's going to ask us questions, and it's going to make sure that all the different things we might not have thought of in our initial idea is going to get caught. So I'm going to go through and answer all of these questions now. Okay, so I went through with the AI question by question, and here we are. The LLM basically initially asked me, do I want any review before the thing gets published to Publer? Like, do I have to click publish before it goes? I just went, no, let's just go straight and publish it to our short form content. I think AI is good enough to handle these steps right now, to create the captions, create the titles, etc. I don't think it's going to do anything wacky. So I went, let's cut out the review step and let's go straight to just publishing the content. And since the system will take over completely as soon as you hand off the video, how would you prefer to actually start the automation? For example, do you just want to drop your raw videos into the Google Drive folder? So yeah, I wanted to build a front end where we can just drop the videos into the front end and then it starts the automation essentially, rather than any other method of doing it. So this way we have a front end dashboard, we have all the videos on our laptop, we just pick all the ones we want, like 3, 4, 5 of them, and drop them all in, and it will do it. And a simple web interface is cool. And do we need like a full-on dashboard? I said, I don't think we need like a dashboard, but just a dashboard for that one run. So if we do 5 videos at once, it creates like a 5-video queue, and then it will tell us if it's been published or whatever. And then next time you refresh the page, that queue goes away. I don't think we need like a sustaining dashboard. It's just overcomplicating this solution. And then it's asking if like we should add the prompt in the front end. I said we're just going to give the prompt directly in the back end and hard code it in. I think that's a safer way to build out this automation, and the prompt will always remain the same since I'm building it for myself, and the captions will always be going through and creating the same prompt. So if you don't understand exactly how the architecture of how this works, essentially we're going to have a prompt that we're going to generate, and then we're going to go and give the transcription at the end of this prompt. So the transcription goes in here. So this prompt is going to tell the AI how to use the transcription to go and create the caption for us, basically. So that's what we're trying to do over here. And then we're going to combine a just to visualize the web page. Sorry, that's where I asked. I said I'll give the prompt by hard coding it. And then it's asking, like, say something fails, like Publer's down, or the Claude API that we're going to use to create the actual caption is down. What are we supposed to do, right? And I just say, like, show it as a failed status on the dashboard. So we're going to have where we enter in the different videos that we want to process, and then we're going to have a dashboard at the bottom. Sweet. And I just want to confirm that that's exactly what it's going to do. I just want to confirm. We enter in the videos, we can add in up to, let's say 10, and then when the videos are processing, it will add a dashboard in just for the videos we processing, not every video of all time. Okay, and I'm just confirming that when we add the videos in, it does actually just create the dashboard at the bottom or wherever it needs to create the dashboard. I don't really mind where it goes, but instead, like, it does actually go and do that rather than just ignoring it. So let me send this across, and let's hope that, you know, once we add the videos in, it creates a little dashboard with all the videos that we are processing in that moment. Okay, so I think it got it. It added the batch limit. It got that it's only the current session. There's no history, but it adds in a dashboard. So that's exactly what we needed to do. So I'm going to go and copy over our next prompt. So if I go over to step 3, is to use prompt 2 to define exactly how we're going to build it. This is going to define what APIs we're going to use and all the technical specifications. So I've pasted in, this is prompt number 2, I think. Yes, front end, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to paste this in, and then it's going to go and ask us for the project summary. So I'm going to copy the project summary in advance, and I'm going to paste that in here. And the minute it asks us for the project summary, there we go, we got it. I'm going to paste this one in. And now it's going to go and give us some tech stack recommendations. Sweet, here we go. So we have everything that we wanted to do. So a database selection, the recommended database is SQLite. The reasoning for this is we don't actually need Superbase. So we have 2 options in our prompt. Either we can use SQLite or Superbase. Superbase is great for like when it needs to pertain and have a whole database that's permanently there, that remembers always. For this one, we're only using it for when we're making that one run. So SQLite is perfect. Upload stuff, it's going to use Fast API, Upload, and Python. I'm going to be honest, I'm very familiar with APIs, Superbase, and all that stuff, but I'm not very familiar with Python libraries, so I'm going to trust it. This sounds brilliant. Let's just use that. Then transcription, I do want to use OpenAI Whisper. I think I might have mentioned this in my initial prompt. I can't remember, but we're going to use that. For LLM generation, I want to use Claude, so let's use that. So for LLM generation, change this to Claude. Perfect. And then video editing, FFmpeg is perfect, plus Python. Blazing fast performance, deep learning curve, This is all great. I don't want to use MoviePy. Let's use, FFmpeg or MoviePy? Let's decide. So I think everything else is good. We're using Fast API, transcription is fine. This is the only thing we're changing is the LLM. Video editing is all good. The publishing is all fine. Okay, perfect. We have the full tech stack locked and loaded. Everything looks perfect. And now let's go to the next step. So the next step is to go and generate some backend instructions for AntiGravity. So let's go over to our prompt and let's flick over to backend prompt. Okay, I've pasted our backend prompt into the same chat that we've had the conversation with the whole tech stack. And this is going to give it all the context it needs to go and create us a prompt where we're going to go into AntiGravity and actually start to build. Okay, so we have our full-on backend prompt ready to go. Now I'm going to go back to our step-by-step, and now we go to step 5, which is to add our Agents.md file into AntiGravity. So what does that all mean? So we have this Agents.md file tab over here. I'm going to press Command A and copy that. And then I'm going to flick over to AntiGravity. If you don't have AntiGravity installed already, just go to antigravity.google and install it. And you should come up to a page like this. This is a brand new, fresh project. And what I'm going to want to do is click Open Folder over here. I'm going to flick over to AntiGravity YT videos, and I'm going to create a new folder. And this is going to be our project folder where all our files, all our code files are going to live. And I'm going to call this one Captions plus Title for Short Form Content. And I'm going to click Create. And this is our new project folder, and it will be completely empty because it's brand new. We haven't coded anything yet. And I'm going to click Open over here, and boom, our brand new project ready to go. And I'm going to flick over back to here. I'm going to copy our Agents.md file just again. And I'm going to click over here to new file. I'm going to call it Agents.md. Click enter. I'm going to paste all that information from the Google Doc into our Agents.md folder. Now this is a markdown file. And essentially this is going to make sure that our agent follows these really, really strict instructions on what tech stack to use, how to build out this automation so everything goes super, super smoothly. It's specifically built to build fast automations like the one we're about to build. So cool. And I pressed Command S, make sure you always save the file once you're done. So there we go, we have that ready to go. And I'm going to flick back to Google Gemini, copy our backend prompt, and you'll see somewhere here it says project structure agents.md. I'm going to click paste, and I'm going to flick down to here and I'm going to click read agents.md just to make sure it does that. And I'm going to click on OPUS 4.6 Claude, and this is going to go and build out our backend. So let's click enter, and let's go and watch our AI coding assistant go and build out this entire automation for us. I also used Claude and planning for a specific reason. I much prefer Claude for backend automations. So all of the backend, I like to use Claude, and I always use planning because this is an absolutely massive project. However, for the front end, I much prefer to use Google Gemini 3.1 Pro. And this is one of the reasons I love AntiGravity. You can use a plethora of models and you can pick and choose which one you want, depending on number one, what's the best in this current stage, and number two, what each model's strengths are. So I know over here, GPT is really good at like terminal commands. So if you need to do any sort of terminal commands in here, then GPT is great for that. I know Claude is great for backend, and I've tried and tested that and it works best for backend for me. And I know Gemini is really, really good for front end. So there you go, you can pick and choose what you want to use. Okay, so it created an implementation plan, but it needed 3 things from me. Number one is a master prompt for Claude. So this is like how we're actually going to go and create the caption for our post. So what I did was I flicked over to Claude over here and essentially had a discussion with it. I wanted it to write me a caption. So I said, you're an expert in writing social media captions. I need you to create me a prompt, but this prompt is going to be to write captions when I give you a transcript to a video I've made. We'll start with a TikTok caption, ask any questions you need. And essentially it asked me a bunch of questions. I went and answered them. It created the thing. And then I gave it a transcript so I could test out how this would work. And I didn't really like what it came out with. Like, it feels very AI, and I don't like it when it sounds AI. So I said, like, I just want it to be like someone just typed it. Like, it's just straight from my brain. Because this isn't normally how I caption TikToks. I just blah, 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 and then just press post, right? So I wanted a similar sort of way. So I just said, like, imagine it's just gone straight from your brain to phone. And I liked the way it came up with that. So then I said, create the new prompt in this style. And I basically copied this entire prompt and I have pasted it into AntiGravity. Cool. Second thing I wanted was public target platforms. For now, I'm just going to use TikTok, and then we can obviously add Instagram and YouTube Shorts later if we want to. I'm just going to make it post to TikTok for now. Last thing is it wanted caption styling. I already mentioned the caption styling, so it's just bold, lowercase, black stroke, karaoke highlight. I think that's all absolutely perfect. So I said that's all great, and now it's going to go ahead and build. Awesome. So now it's going to go ahead and build this whole project for us in the backend. And while that's happening, we can go and do another step, and that is to go and create the front end prompt. So if we go over to our step-by-step guide and flick over to here, we are doing step number 6 right now, and we can keep super productive and do step number 7 as well. And this is going to be to use our prompt 4 to generate front end instructions. So let's go over to our prompts over here, click on this, and let's copy over prompt number 4. And here we go, here's prompt number 4. I'm going to click enter, and now it's going to go through that same consultation process it did for our front-end design, where it's going to ask us, like, would you like this kind of tag? Would you like this drop down over here? How would you like the front end to look? How many pages do you want? Blah, 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 blah. It's going to go over that whole thing right now. So I'm going to go through and answer all the different questions now. We can see question 1, I want it to be like a massive drop thing on the page rather than anything else. So let's do that. So should it be a massive full screen drop so it's impossible to miss? Yes, full screen. Awesome. And I'm going to go through and answer all of these questions so we can go through them after I've done answering them. Okay, so here we are. I answered all the different questions. So question 1, do you want a drag and drop screen, full screen? We already went through this. Yes, I want a massive drag and drop. You can just post all your videos in there, nothing else on that page. Awesome. Then it asks, like, do you want to confirm that these are the videos you want to kind of start the automation with? I don't want to have to see all the videos and click start automation. I just want it to go through and do it instantly. So I said instantly, please. And then it asked, how do you want the videos to show up in the dashboard? I just want them like in a line by line kind of item rather than in any other way. I just want to see them all in a row. And then say we upload more than 10 videos, for example, what should it do? And I said I wanted to turn the drop zone red rather than doing anything else. So it just says error, you cannot do it. And the whole thing's gone red, and it says please only upload a maximum of 10 videos. So then we have a simple status badges for our dashboard rather than like any complex like loading bars, etc. I like simple status that they just look so much cleaner. And one of the tools we're using, which is like a kind of like a package for front end kind of things to make it look really neat, it's this. I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's that. It has really cool status bars, so that's why I want to use that. And then what happens once it's all done and all 10 are processed or failed or whatever, then a clear and start new batch button is pretty sweet. We're only going to be building this for desktop, which is one of the questions it asked, and we're only going to be using desktop for this. And then we have the front end design specification ready to go, and that is awesome. And while we were working on the actual front end prompt, we have our backend that is fully built, and our AntiGravity has given us some tasks to do. So it wants us to fill in our backend keys using .env. So if I go over here to our example, over here, you can see it's given us all the different keys it needs. We just need to go and provide it all of this information, which we will go and do. And then, of course, it's asking us to install FFmpeg for caption burning. We're going to go and do that together. This will be a few terminal commands that we can go and do, so that will be fine. And the last thing we're going to need to do is reload the app and go and test it. So let's go and test out our backend and do all of these cool things. So first thing we do is go add all my API keys in. I've done this about 1 billion times, so I'm not going to go through this step by step. I also can't show my API keys to you because you guys can charge me for any kind of API usage you guys might have. So I'm going to quickly go and do this. Okay, so now we're going to go and install FFmpeg together. So I am going to act like I have no clue what to do. I think I do have to use this as a terminal command, but let's just go through. And I'm going to speak to AntiGravity and we're going to solve this together. So I'm doing this for you guys who don't know how to code. I don't know how to code either, but I've used enough AntiGravity to kind of figure this out. But for you guys that are new, let's go through this together. So I'm going to speak to AntiGravity. So yeah, like if you're ever really stuck on how to do these things, like especially these technical things, go to Gemini 3 Flash so you don't waste your credits, and then just say I'm stuck and it will kind of help you out. So since you're on a Mac, we'll use a tool called Homebrew. Okay, so we're going to open terminal and it's going to ask us to do all of these different things. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to open up terminal on AntiGravity actually. So let's get new terminal. I'm going to copy over the command and install Homebrew by clicking enter. There we go. It's installing everything. It's going to ask for my password. Let me enter that. There we go. And now it's going to install this application for us. Okay, so I think it's done. Follow new directories, blah, blah, blah. Compressing objects, done. Counting objects. I think it's finished. I don't know. Let's see. And then I'm going to click this and let's see if this worked. Maybe it hasn't installed yet. I'm not too sure. Never mind. It's still doing something over here. Counting objects, reuse delta, blah, blah, blah. I still think it's installing for us, updating. Okay, so it's installed whatever it needs to install, and now it's saying some next steps. I don't really want to have to use my brain to kind of go through this, so why don't we use AntiGravity to help us out? This is what it says. Is it done? We have to do anything else? Cool. All right, I'm gonna click enter and let's see what it says, right? If there's anything else we have to do, then we will do it. Otherwise, no. I think we've got 2 more commands to enter, it looks like. So let's do this. Those next steps are just a few lines we need to run to connect home group so your Mac knows where to find it. Copy and paste these 3 lines. Okay, done. Into your terminal and hit enter. So let's paste this in and let's click enter. Okay, sweet. And I did both those commands and then I entered the last one and now it's downloading FFmpeg for us all on its own. And like, this is normally the bit why people find it the most complicated, because you're not talking to an AI, you're actually adding in commands, etc. However, literally, you can have it walk it through you on this side with your terminal in the bottom section over here, and you just have your little friend on the right that can help you do whatever you need to do. So awesome. We've done and installed that. While that is going, I've added in all my different API keys, which is cool. Let's just double check if there were any more steps that we missed. So no, the last thing we need to do is an end-to-end test, which we will go ahead and do once our FFmpeg is downloaded. Okay, so everything is done. We've downloaded all the things we needed to download. We've added in all the API keys we needed. We've even got a command to start up the server. And here we go. The server is now all started. Okay, and here we go. I have fixed a couple things and we're here. We have all the different API documentation we need. And now we can actually go and upload the videos to see how they look. So let's go over here, upload videos, accept a batch of up to 10 raw videos. So let's try it out over here. And I'm gonna go and upload a video. This is weird, there's no upload button. Perhaps it's done it in a different way. So let me double check with AntiGravity as to why it's using it as a string rather than just an upload button that it normally uses. And I can double check what's going on. After a bit of back and forth with AntiGravity, there was some bug with Swagger and it went and fixed it. This is the explanation if you're interested. And now we have a lovely choose file button. So let me go and pick out some files with a short form video content that I can actually add into here. So I added a video of me just blabbing to TikTok. I'm going to click execute and we're going to see what happens. We got a positive response with the status as pending. And we've got the ID over here, which I'm sure we're going to use in the next stage. I've copied over the ID. And then we have the video status over here. I think I can try it out. And I can copy over, is it the session ID that I copied? What's the session? No, this is the session ID over here. So let me copy over the session ID, not the normal ID. And let's scroll back down and let me paste in the right ID and click execute and to see what happens. So we have over here, the status is now transcribing with the overall status as processing. Okay, so it's been transcribing for ages. I genuinely don't know why. So I have gone back to AntiGravity to go and take a look. And I've just put in this and then I put in all the information it needs. Instead, just take a look at why it's like continually transcribing for no reason. There we go. So essentially the file we were adding, it was trying to put the whole MP4 file into transcribe when it really should have extracted the MP3. Should have done from there is compressed it, which is normally what we would do in like a NAN automation, for example. I just forgot to ask it to do that, and I thought it'd be smart enough to ask it to do that as well, but it didn't. But now it's fixed it. So let's retry. Okay, so I added in the file again. I'm going to click execute, and there we go. We've got our response, and now we know we copy the session ID over here. Go all the way down to our other API call. I'm going to click try it out. Paste out the session ID here. We're in transcribing. Now hopefully you'll get past this section. We have a failed message over here with an incorrect X API key. I mean, all my API keys are right. So we will see what it says. Let's copy this and let's paste this into AntiGravity. We just double check my API keys beforehand. I've copied the error in and I've pasted it into AntiGravity. I said to check this error and just literally tell me where it's coming from and also try and fix it. So we'll see what it goes and does. There was something wrong with my API key, so I'm going to hit refresh again and let's go to upload a new video. I'm going to click try it out, add my video in. I added my video, I click execute, and now we're going to scroll down to here, try it out. I need to copy the session ID, don't I? Boom, let's copy up this ID over here and let's paste this over into our session ID over here. Click execute, it should say transcribing. Oh, is there another error? It failed again. Interesting. We'll try and see what we can do about this. Okay, last try. I think I fixed all the Claude things. What I did was I refreshed my API. I gave it the API documentation using the Claude page. So hopefully this time it should work. So let's click execute. Let's get our session ID from up here. And let's go over to our video statuses, try it out. And let's paste in our session ID and click execute. We can see stuff is generating. Wow, that's cool. So it transcribed it already, I think, and now it's generating. Let's click execute again. It failed because of FFmpeg. Let's just double check why this is. Okay, so I fixed the Publer upload problem essentially, and if I show you over here on Publer, this is a video I published before. It's now auto-publishing to our Publer. So that's all entirely fixed. And now our next step is to go and build our front end. So for reference on how I actually fixed the Publer thing, there was problems. I went to AntiGravity. I told it there's a problem. It tried to fix. I tried it. New error. Gave the error to AntiGravity. It fixed that error. And slowly, we fixed everything. It probably took me about 30 minutes to get that all up and working. So now the next step that we have to do is get the front end going. So we already made the prompt for the front end. I'm just going to go and copy our front end prompt here. This should be everything. Yes. And I'm going to paste it over here. I like to use Gemini 3.1 for the front end. And I'm just going to go ahead and get it to make us the front end. Perfect. Keep it. Okay, here we go. Front end design specifications. That's cool. I think this is the prompt cleaned up, and I'm going to click go. And boom, now it's going to go and hopefully build us a working perfect front end, and it's going to test it until it's essentially working, and then we can go and give it a nice little try. And here we go, it built out our entire front end. And over here it says like you can drop up to 10 videos. I've already done it. I've already dropped one video in. It's currently in the editing stage, just so I can check out what the front end looks like. I like this front end so far. The only thing I don't like is the fact that I can't click on this drop up to 10 videos and add videos from my laptop. So I want to be able to do that, right? I don't want to just be able to drag and drop videos, which is the only way I managed to actually go and upload this one. So let's go and have a little chat, as that's one of the things I want to change. So let's talk to about that. Hey, so the upload screen is cool. However, I cannot click on it to choose videos from my computer. I can only drag and drop. I'd also like the option to click on it and go through my files on my laptop. There we go. So that's one change I would like it to make. In the meantime, I'm also waiting for this thing to go through and finish editing, just so I can see what the actual batch pipeline looks like, just to see if, you know, all the front end aspects work how I wanted them to in my head. Okay, so as we can see here, the run is complete. And if I flick over to Publer, I did a couple more tests in the meantime, but essentially this was the video. I actually realized I never showed you the actual video, so let me click on here. So here's a controversial take, but don't quit your job to start an AI automation agency. So there we go. So I started my AI all the captions really nicely, and it also added in this title, and this is all done automatically, and it even publishes all of it automatically using Publer. That is really cool. So I'm just going to amend the only thing that I really found wrong with the front end. And that was so if I click refresh on this page here, the fact that I can't click this and actually go and add in all my different files from my laptop. So let's go and do that. And there we go. I sent over the request that we wrote up, and it just says that the upload screen is cool. However, I cannot click on it to choose videos from my computer. I can only drag and drop. So it's going to go and make sure that we can actually go and click through to find the files. And while we're waiting for it to change that, I'm also going to generate some testing instructions. So we're going over here to step 9. We've done step 8, which is to build the front end. I'm going to go to step 9 here, which is to actually go to our testing prompt. And I'm going to copy this entire prompt over. And I'm going to paste my testing prompt into Gemini page over here, so it's just the Pro, and I'm going to click go. And now this should hopefully go and create us a whole prompt to give to AntiGravity to go and test our automation like a developer, basically. This will save a bunch of time when we're actually testing thoroughly manually using this whole process to make sure that, you know, we don't have to go back and forth as much. It will just run all the tests and fix everything right now. Okay, and I'm back here in AntiGravity, and as you can see, it has fixed our drop zone kind of thing for us. So if I go over to here, and if I click refresh, it should have worked. Boom, I can access all my different files and upload any or multiple files that I would like to do. And that's awesome. Now our testing instructions should have been done by now. Awesome, they are done. I'm going to go through and copy these. So let's click on this, and let's paste them into our anti-gravity page over here. We're going to use Gemini 3.1 high in planning, and we're going to go and send this off for testing. It should go and make sure everything is working perfectly. Okay, so the testing is done. This bit actually made me laugh. It said it had a critical accident where it poorly formatted a dummy file in our pipeline test, and it actually deleted our whole backend. But I don't know, it managed to fix it by using some IDE history. Because of that, I want to double check that this automation works. Also ran a browser check and everything else, so it all looks really cool. So let's do our last check, and then this entire automation is all done. So let's open up our localhost. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to drop in our old reliable video. So let me click open, boom, it is uploading, and now it's going to transcribe, etc., etc. I'll be back once it's all done. Okay, and there we go. It made the entire video and it should all be done. If I go to Publer, you can see it's right over here. And this is the one that we actually went and uploaded right here. So it all works end to end, and it is super, super cool. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could interact with it, whether that be a subscribe, a follow, or a like. It really helps out a ton. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section below. I will be monitoring that. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers. Also, one thing I forgot to mention is I am going to be deploying this entire solution. So if you were keen-eyed, and if I go over to my step-by-step scenario over here, you can see we have step number 11 to 13. These are all regarding deployment. I have deployed so many solutions, and I'm actually going to make an entirely separate video showing you how to deploy this step-by-step after. So there should be another video on it. It should be titled something like how I deploy my solutions on AntiGravity. So you can go ahead and watch that video if you're curious on how to deploy the specific automation. However, if you just want to know more about deployment altogether, I have a bunch of different videos making so many different solutions, and I've deployed every single one of them. So you can check that out. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you next video.